Could we have roll call, please?
Yes, Mr. Bisong is not present this evening. Mrs. Furr.
Here.
Mr. Catula.
Here.
Mr. Shelkins.
Here.
Mrs. Singleton.
Here.
Mr. Trzanka.
Here.
Mrs. Montel.
Here. I'd like to welcome everybody this evening. I know the weather isn't exactly what we'd like it to be, so thank you for taking the time to be here. There are no changes or deletions to the agenda. Do we have any visitors this evening? Mrs. Spence, would you like to take the podium?
The reason why I'm here, 1041 3rd Street, Shirley Spence, is I really want to know what is going to take place concerning that cul-de-sac area where I live. Because it's being, one person now is parking a vehicle owned by Wright. He's putting 8 cones around the car. He had it there during the last snowstorm. The people, even the plow person couldn't get through. And I asked him if he would just move the car until they plowed the side of the street. And he ignored me. He puts me on voice. He picks up his phone and he says, I'm going to record this for Wright. I'm going to record this for Wright. He told me I could park here. His lawyers told me I could park here. He goes on and on. This goes on all the time. And harassment, I'm up to here with him. Today he has 3 cones in front of this vehicle. But the day of the snowstorm that we had, the last one, all weekend, we can't even pull in front of our property right now on the street. He has 8 cones, and the cones are going around on the street, completely around the car. And right now, there's 3 cones sitting there with his car. I mean, how would anyone like to have this in front of their house constantly? It's horrible. I mean, I don't know what to do anymore. But besides that, people can't turn around as usual. They're backing in and backing out. And of course, trying to go down my driveway, which I have blocked. And I just need some help with this. A yellow line, I wonder if we do put a yellow line in, will it be enforced? That's my main concern. I don't want a yellow line when no one's going to enforce it. It's like the signs that are on the street now with no parking on this side. I understand they can't be enforced. The one on my Blitzen fence can't be enforced up to only so many feet. So here's where, that's the reason why I'm here right now. And I would appreciate any help you could give.
Can I take this?
Yes.
Elaine, can we call Mr. Wright?
My husband tried 3 times.
Yeah, remember if you recall at last month's meeting,
That's a call.
the engineer was supposed to get together, according to the minutes, the engineer was supposed to get together with the chief to go down there and look at it and then take whatever steps necessary and instruct Mike Joseph to do so. But that hasn't happened because he was off.
Okay, but can we just call Mr. Wright?
Absolutely.
And just to ask him, can this guy just park down the other end of the street? It's just, all he's doing is harassing her. And he you know, it's getting to the point where it's irritating me. You know, I mean, obviously we can't paint a line until it warms up, but, you know, we can spray paint it, but it's not gonna stick. So if we could just call Mr. Wright and ask him, you know, either park in his driveway if he has a driveway, or park at the other end of the street.
And this is the right that's down, well, is he still down here? He's down
Yeah,
there.
this one, the one in
Okay.
North Swickley, yes.
Okay. Right.
I have a question. These
Where
cones,
What authorization
Where are they
does
coming
he
from?
have to block the street with cones?
wait,
I kind of just jumping in, so I didn't catch all this.
Dave, were you here when I said, can we just call Mr. Wright?
No.
We can do that. Here's what I did. I actually spoke to the gentleman she's talking about. Had a decent conversation with him. He agreed to, park up further. I told him that by law he don't have to, but to try to work with the neighbors and such. And he said that he would be willing to do that. But then I guess there was another altercation or something. They don't get along, and so there's an issue there with neighbors. The problem is as of right now, the gentleman in the right truck is not doing anything illegal. He's parked legal. When Comcast comes anywhere, they put cones down for safety. I sent an officer down to look at it, to say, hey, are the cones in the middle of the street, would they block a vehicle, would they block an emergency vehicle? The answer was no. And we're really trying to help Mrs. Spence to just not be bothered by this anymore, which is why we brought up at the last meeting. But as I've told her, several times, there's nothing we can do about a vehicle that's parking legally.
Why won't he park in the driveway?
Because he's a jerk. Do you want to know the truth? That's why. But you can't arrest people for being jerks.
I understand that.
Or we would have no prisons with room. So
I do have a question. Why are there cones being placed around this vehicle? I mean,
it could be a policy,
But
like
it's-
Comcast, Verizon, when they get out of their trucks, they have to put traffic cones.
But I thought this was a right,
It's one of those right flagger trucks.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
in my opinion,
The traffic control guys.
Okay.
in my opinion, I don't think it's a policy, and I do in fact think that he's doing it
Right.
because they don't get along. I will tell you that. The guy is just kind of incorrigible. So we're trying to do everything we can do.
That's why I said, could we just call Mr. Wright and ask him, can he either park in the driveway or park down the other end of the block?
I can, but he could also tell me to go.
I mean, you can explain to him, it's not illegal for what he's doing.
Right,
but
right.
Just to be nice.
Yeah, and that's no problem. And also, we did talk last council meeting, obviously the next day,
Yes.
I was off work,
Yes.
but I suggested, and I think that there's no issue with having the line painted when it gets dry enough, so emergency vehicles can turn around back there. I think that that's fair.
Yes.
But we can't do that until it gets dry enough to paint the line.
Right.
So, calling the police every day when someone's parked legally also doesn't help the situation. I mean,
Like I said, can we
can't
just
do
call Mr. Wright and
Yeah, no problem.
explain it to him, and
Okay, so
Yeah, we can
the
do
chief's
that.
calling Mr.
will
Wright.
you handle that?
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Call them tomorrow.
Okay? At least for now, till we see what he says.
Is there anybody else? Mr.
I
Stewart?
just have one more question. If we paint the line and he still parks there, what will happen?
Well, technically, he'll be able to be cited.
Okay.
Because it-
I just want to make sure, because I don't want a lineman
Right.
on the side, or if they're going to say, okay, let's stay there. He also stuck a nail in my tire. I can't prove it, but he did. He stuck a nail.
That's why I just call Mr. Wright, he owns the truck. It's his employee, just ask him if he can talk to
This
his
is Wright
employee.
Construction. This is not Wright Chevrolet.
No,
WD Wright. It's
WD Wright.
Yeah, W. Wright. I just want to
Yeah.
make sure you were aware.
Yeah.
I
That's what I
was
was
not
asking.
aware of that.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy.
He
if you can
explained
get
it.
him.
I
Yeah,
was
he is
just-
very nice.
He's in Beaver Falls on Glendale Avenue.
Okay, well, I'll be coming for someone for the number.
There you go.
I will call, no problem.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Sure.
Mr. Steuben?
Michael Steuben, 44 Anthony Wayne Terrace. I'm gonna ask a question, and I know it's on everyone's mind. At least people have been talking about it. Forgive me if I upset anyone. Why did we let a burglar go when they caught him and all of them go finish his affairs for the day? I mean, everyone is talking about it. I know it's on a lot of people's mind. What happened?
Well, I'm not going to get too much into the investigation, basically, because it is an ongoing investigation. So basically what happened was we were trying to put a case together on a certain suspect. We did not have a case. But what we knew that there were multiple guns stolen, some of which were loaded. And we knew that they were stashed somewhere. And we were afraid that a kid was going to be walking through the woods on the path, pick up a loaded gun, and possibly shoot himself or a buddy that he was walking with. So what we did was, we in fact made a decision. The ADAs from Beaver County were also notified, and we said, hey, it's time to make a decision. He, with basically a plea deal, he stated that he would in fact confess and give us all the details, and most importantly, tell us where the firearms were stashed, because we did have a search warrant, but obviously when we went in, the guns weren't in the house.
Look, I'm going to interject just with this case because they're not all slam dunks. This kid has been a problem before. I myself had arrested him about 4 months earlier with his accomplice, which was Jennifer Leo. We had taken them. They were arrested. They were placed in jail. Mine pled to a misdemeanor too, which put her back out on the street again. Derek has an ongoing case, Officer Shipley has an ongoing case with Bowker, already on the first set of charges that went to a suppression hearing. They're trying to work a plea out on that. I was with Officer Shipley during the majority of this investigation. We were in contact via phone. But basically, we had circumstantial evidence, which as an attorney, you know doesn't get you too far. We didn't have enough to put this person at a place where he was. We had an idea and a fact to know that this is the guy that was doing it. But the problem is, without probable cause, without knowing that he's the one that did these burglaries, we had nothing to go on. So Officer Shipley was smart enough to obtain a search warrant, because we had an idea. We had video that was it of somebody walking on the street. That'd be like you, Judy, walking down the street. And we said, oh, we saw her walking down the street. You can't charge somebody for that. Officer Shipley went in, served a search warrant under reasonable suspicion, since we felt it might have been this kid, again, because it matched the modus operandi. Took him down to the station. The kid could have walked at any time, because technically he wasn't under arrest. He was being detained for questioning. After over 2.5 hours of interviewing with Officer Shipley, there's a way to coax people in some sense. I don't want to say coax, but give them incentive maybe to tell the truth. And we were scared because, yeah, what Chief Krishner said, the weapons were stolen. That was a big thing. We had a victim in one case that couldn't give us an exact or accurate description of who did the crime. So we would have essentially, without Derek interviewing this kid and him eventually admitting to what he did, we would have had nothing to go on. So in that case, we contacted the ADA, and there's different types of crimes. A felony, just because it's a felony, doesn't mean you automatically get taken to jail. There's rules of criminal procedure that fall into place with this. The crimes that he did commit, they were burglaries. Yes, they can be dangerous, but it wasn't something like an aggravated assault or something where somebody's life could have been in harm. We wanted to get the guns back and safeguard everything. So we Derek painstakingly contacted the ADA's office, spoke with several of the ADAs to get their opinion on, this kid just gave us this confession, what can we do here? He's willing to tell us more if we offer something to him. And that's when the decision was made to say, hey, listen, you tell us everything, we'll let you turn yourself in. And that was the deal. 95% of the time it works and the person shows up. Unfortunately, this time, the guy knows that he's got a very bad drug addiction, very, very bad drug addiction. It's like anything. I had an individual that was out on what they call a mental health warrant. It took us about a week or so to grab him. They turn up. He's going to turn up, and we're going to make sure that he gets paid. He's going to get launched because with the pending charges that are already there, on top of these gun charges, which are felonies, he's done. But
Well, the only reason I'm asking, not to belate this,
yeah,
you don't know how, well, you might, but how it was in the Beaver County Times, everyone was talking about it. I know it's fake news, Beaver County Times,
Yeah.
but, I mean, it was terrible. I mean,
And, you know,
I got
and
6
you know what,
different
Mike?
conversations down at the church.
right, and that's
on Friday
the same with
night.
us because, you know, as much as I'm in the community with everything that I do, I must have told this story about 560 times. But I can understand the community's concern. I just want you guys to understand that things don't always go like CSI and it's not A, B, C, D. Sometimes you have to jump from A to D to get the thing out, because otherwise this still would have possibly still happened if we weren't able to intervene. So we know exactly who was doing it. It's a matter of catching him. We have a NCIC, which is a national alert out through the county. So whether he goes over to Monaco, where he lived before, or he goes to another county, they'll be able, if someone runs him and he's a bum, they're going to catch him. So hopefully we'll sit here the next council meeting and we'll say, hey, listen, everything worked out the way it did. But I want to commend Officer Shipley for the work that he did, because he spent a lot of time on this case. So thank you.
And just in conclusion, it's on me. Officer Shipley did call me and say, hey, this is where we're at. I don't have a case on him. We know it's him. We just arrested him, 6 months prior on the same charges. He goes, what's your thoughts on this? And I said, if he'll lead us to these guns that could possibly hurt somebody.
I'm so sorry, Chief. If you want to have another meeting, please step outside and have it. It's hard for us to hear with somebody else talking. Thank you.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
and again, just to finish up, I basically said simply this: if the man will lead us to guns that are stashed in the woods where a child could find them, not realize they're loaded, pull that trigger not realizing, and one of them be killed, I said, I would rather be able to sleep at night and do it this way than possibly put our children in harm's way. So it was my call. If there's an issue with it, you can, it's on me. But Derek did a great job because he basically took a guy off the street who would still be burglarizing. We don't believe he's here. We're constantly staked out where the two places we think he could be. We're watching. We don't believe he's in Baden, but the decision was ultimately mine, and that's what we did.
Well, I have a question. Were any of the residents in the particular area he was burglarizing aware that this was going on in this particular area?
Well, this all transpired very quickly. We're assuming that he probably needed a fix. So this happened, very, very quickly. And the one that he went to, I forget the gentleman's name, the house that burnt down.
Andrews.
Oh yeah, well, yes, I think it was your.
That's how I found out about it.
Yeah,
And I
so
live in that
long
area.
story short, we interviewed him. He saw him but couldn't identify him. And so
he couldn't give specifics of
Right.
because the story changed, and we have to look at it from a defensive standpoint. Where if we put this guy on the stand and he can't identify him, he says the guy's a 6 foot tall African American, and it turns out to be a 5 foot tall. We're done. So basically, what he was able to do was because thank God people do have, and I'd encourage everybody to get cameras, but nowadays, but on their, we were able to obtain somebody walking past that we were aware of because of past circumstances with him. He was in a general area. You're allowed to walk down the street.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
wasn't my
Oh, I'm
question
sorry.
though.
Yeah,
My question was, how long was this going on?
what was the time?
the time
What was the
frame?
time
A
period
week?
there?
Was it a week?
No, 2 days. Sunday.
Yeah.
You mean he burglarized all these homes in 2 days?
There was only what, two? There was two houses that
How
were hit
many
in the same
homes were
day.
actually burglarized?
Two.
Two, just
One
two.
One in the same, one in an attempt.
In an attempt, but the guy that he was there.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And it was in the same area that he was staying right there on Jefferson. We had an idea it was him. Shipley was able to notice a guy walking wearing the same clothes a couple days in a row. Then we got the camera with him in the clothes in the area, but we didn't have enough to make an arrest.
Circumstantial.
He would have still been walking the street today had we not taken this route. So in my opinion, we did what was right. We took, we'll get him, we'll pick him
Yeah.
up, and we'll move forward.
The reason I asked is because I had heard this had been going on for a while.
Well, because
It
there
was
was
before.
past prior incidents where we had, and that's the one that I got that we saw.
That female.
Yes,
They were together.
They were together. So I charged on one end, and Officer Shipley charged on the other. So we were able to find that through a pawn connection that we have access to. So we put all this together, and that's how we became really familiar with Mr. Bowker. And I think anybody, we keep bringing up Derek's name, but I'm very proud of him with what he did. I wish the circumstances would have been different. The guy would have turned himself in like he was supposed to. But I still feel like it was a slam dunk in the sense that when you have nothing to go on, nothing at all, except for something that's circumstantial, it's hard to solve a case. But he was able to push it through, and he did a I watched the interview, he did a phenomenal job in patience in interviewing him. So if anything, he deserves a well done.
Well, thank you very much, Officer Shipley. We greatly appreciate
I'd
that.
like to ask a follow-up question to that. When things are going on like this, not necessarily this particular case. I was a member of Monaca. Chief Rocco Conti, or his name was, every time you turned around, they had something in the paper, something was going on. I don't expect to see that. But what is our policy on, I live right not far from where this happened.
Yeah.
And we didn't know about it last time either. I actually got a call from my cousin Victor. Said, hey, you know what, this guy was at my house, blah, blah, blah. Do we have a policy? I just don't see stuff in the
Well, we
paper. I
weren't in
think,
the public,
like when
yeah.
people say, okay, in Harmony Township, people are breaking into cars. This is going on, that's going on. I don't ever see that in the paper.
Go ahead. We just to clarify, we do not have an exact policy. When we have had things in the past, I know one time at Anthony Wayne Terrace that we finally caught the guy. We knew he was breaking in. It was all the same guy, and we did put it out there. There are times. This specific incident, there was no time. We always get a burglary here or burglary there, that
Right.
it's not a serial burglar. It's just a guy who wants to go get some change because he wants it fixed, and we try to solve it and we work.
And
There are
on it.
times there is a pattern.
Well, yeah, and John,
Right.
to follow up on that question, the last time that these two individuals were caught, I did do an interview and had pictures on KDK. I had,
Okay.
what's her name? Amy Marcinkiewicz came down, and we did do that. We've been known in the past when people get scammed and stuff to do it, but like I said, this incident, it happened. I say a week, it was 2 days. We were both off in a sense, but Derek, like I said, within that two-day period, he had somebody in custody. The thing that really helped us out a lot too, John, before, and I don't know if they're looking to form again, was our Crime Watch, because they did do alerts. We've done things where we've spoke to people in the community room in reference when we had the Rasher burglary several years ago. So I don't know if that's starting up again, but that was something because they got a hold of people through social media, which everybody's on now, and also via text messages and phone
Okay,
conversations.
I just want to be assured,
Yeah,
we don't have a policy telling people not to get this information out.
correct.
I think it would be highly suggested, like anything that occurs more than twice in the same area, it would probably be wise to inform.
Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't.
Well, it
Sometimes-
depends on what the circumstance.
Right, correct. And I'm not, you're right. A lot of the times that is a good idea, but there are times that we don't want the
person to know that
circumstances
you're-
to
yeah.
get out. We don't
Yeah.
want people to know what we know. So that's why when I stand up, I say, hey, it's an ongoing investigation still. It is not, we didn't go through the courts yet, so I don't want to say too much. But just so the public knows, that's why we did what we did.
Well, the reason I've had so many questions this evening is because I've had phone calls too, and these
So
people
have
are
I.
telling me this has been going on for a month,
No,
and
they-
no one knew. And I'm so glad you said
Yeah.
2 days, big difference.
Yeah. They were in jail. They put them in
I think
jail
it
like
was
6 months
correlated
ago.
with because it was
Yeah.
the same individuals. It was correlated within that same
Yeah.
block. And honestly, it's sad the fact that people can do this stuff and until they have if it gets through the preliminary hearing, they don't have to have a preliminary hearing. This kid didn't have to have one, so he had an attorney. Derek actually went to preliminary with him. They held everything over. There's these steps before they could actually be placed in jail or found guilty. So that's what we have. There's that lag because otherwise the kid should have been kept there. But
Okay.
Yeah, well, the last 3 felonies that we put him in jail on, he was out in 6 hours.
and Jennifer
6
was
hours.
yeah.
And
Felonies.
then I arrested him again and put him back in jail, and he was out again in 24 hours, he spent 2 days in.
That's
It
very
took me longer to do the paperwork to put him in than they did
Right,
to get him out.
exactly.
Yeah. It's frustrating.
I just have one question. And with the confession that Derek had received from that individual about the firearms, you were able to locate the firearms and the exact
Correct, right.
location,
He
so they are
actually-
recovered.
He actually led us right to him.
Yeah, that
We
was on
would-
the news.
Yeah, I didn't even see it, but we would have never
would have had none of
found him. So, again, you gotta pick and choose your battles. In my opinion, the safety of the public was more important at this time to do
Right.
it this way.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank all of you. Is there any other visitors this evening? Sir?
Good evening. My name is Frank Martucci. I'm an Ambridge resident, but I am running for magistrate for Ambridge, Baden, and Harmony. And I just wanted to introduce myself to council and let all of you know that. I've been an attorney for 27 years, and in fact, I worked for Mr. Amato years ago. But again, I just wanted to introduce myself to all of you. I've been practicing in this area for, like I said, 27 years. I've been in the DA's office, I was in the public defender's office, and now I'm a private practitioner. And with the experience I have and being an attorney, I am certified for the magistrate position here locally. So hopefully I'll get to meet more of you and get to know all of you. This is my first stop on my borough council tour. So again, it's good to see you all. And what I wanted to do was leave a few copies of my resume with you, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
If anybody want to take a look at it. And again, I hope to see all of you soon.
And where are you from, Mr. Martucci?
I live in Ambridge now.
Ambridge.
And I've been living there for the last 12 years.
Thank you.
And anybody else have any questions or anything, I can answer those for you now, or hopefully I'll get a chance to earn your support. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other business to come before, visitors to come before us? If not, we'll go on with the minutes, Elaine.
Yeah.
Motion to approve minutes January 9th and 16th.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Bills to be paid.
Motion to pay bills with 2 signatures.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. There are no resolutions, ordinances, or bids this evening. We'll go on with correspondence.
We have a letter from a Michelle Georgiakis with the Lady Bridgers Fast Pitch, a nonprofit organization requesting the use of the community room on the first Tuesday of each month for the rent, with the rental fee to be waived. Throwing this one at you guys.
She should at least pay $25. I would say at least 25.
Do we have any information on where Miss Georgiakis
Yeah,
is
you know
from?
what, I left a message and asked her to call me, and I haven't got a call back because I'm assuming this is softball, and I'm assuming it's adult softball.
What's
we-
the last name?
Georgiakis.
Georgiakis, Georgiakis. But, I mean, we do, like, the BYA, when they do registration, they'll call and ask, like, for a Sunday afternoon or a Saturday, and for a couple hours, and if it's being used, the community room being used, they'll actually sit in the hallway. It's a Baden Youth Association. The Women's Club, but it's the Baden's Women's Club, we don't charge them. My biggest fear is that this is it's a nonprofit for themselves because it's their own softball team. But if we do it for them, does that mean we'll be doing it for everybody else?
I don't want to set the precedent.
Me,
that we're gonna do
I
that.
Would have been
don't
nice to see him
either.
in here.
My
No, yeah, all
suggestion
she
would
gave
be
was a
that
letter.
this
Please
is
pitch it to
because
us.
it's she's saying Lady Bridgers, why not meet at each community once a month rather than at just one? In other words, go to Harmony Township, go to Ambridge. I don't know about South Economy Borough, and that wouldn't tie our community room up for as much as that.
I don't even know where they're playing. Like, there's all my questions are, I don't know, is it just for a meeting, or is it to eat every month? I don't know. These are the questions I know.
How about you ask her the questions you need and
That's why, yeah, I left her a
we need, and
message.
then we can,
She-
let's
she's trying
table
to
it
get
till
in
next
touch
month.
with her,
while
yes.
we do this. Table it till next month,
There you go.
Yep,
till we get
Yep.
the answers.
yep.
Works for me. The second one is a letter from the Baden United Methodist Church asking permission to close Dippold Avenue from State Street to Berry Street on April 13th from 12:30 to 3 for their annual Easter egg hunt.
So moved.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Committee reports, finance, John?
General fund account balance, $48,295. Expenses, $112,783. Water fund account balance, $189,411. Expenses, $83,726. There's some other financial information, but that'll be under some other reports. That's all I have.
Thanks. Public safety, Ted?
The chief and I had done some interviews with some part-time officers. We had talked about it last week. I'd like to go ahead and make the motion that we hire Douglas Edgell and Scott Broad.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
We do have one more part-time officer application came up. I think we should go ahead and look at that. I'm sorry I didn't get back to you earlier. I was out on an interview earlier today, so I apologize. But if we'll go through this and I'll update everybody once we do the
Are
interview.
you gonna do the interview soon?
Yes. I would say
Just make a
within-
motion to hire them if you guys are okay with it?
No, I think you should do the interview
We should probably do the
first.
interview first, and then I'll let
Try to
everybody
save a
know.
month.
I
Yeah,
know.
We want to break that policy like we did before.
Okay.
Not policy, but we put some things into place so we don't
Okay.
have issues. I'd rather wait, even though we do need them now.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, it's all right.
Yeah, I wish I could have done it sooner. We're talking with Officer, I'm sorry, John Alvarez. We had talked about the new police vehicle last week, so I'd like to go ahead and make the motion that we purchase the leased vehicle. The price was
Yeah, and what I'll do is I'll get you guys copies of all of this. So, and Dave, we've done this before. Where we pay for the upfit out of pocket, and then the 3-year lease term for the vehicle. I was able to save the borough from the original builder about $400 or $500 by doing it this way, and also cutting the time for the car from getting it from probably 6 months down to 6 weeks, because we're gonna go out of Indiana to get it. There was one thing else I wanted to.
I was gonna bring that up.
Yeah, my mind is messed up.
Did you tell them what we were getting for the other car?
Oh, yeah, perfect. So we ended up, did you want to?
That's okay. No, that's good, that's fine, because I was bringing this all up in the next motion, but it's,
Okay.
go ahead, keep
Yeah,
going.
the just correspondence with the borough manager of Ambridge, we were able to sell 321, which is our 2013 Explorer. We were able to get $8,500 for it.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and they're nice enough. I talked to Elaine, we made contact. I talked to the borough manager, and they were going to let us hold on to the vehicle just until we get our new car in, so that we're not down a vehicle.
Ambridge bought it.
The fire department.
Your fire department
Yeah.
bought it.
So what will allow us to do is, it's only gonna go back and forth to the school for the school resource officers, but that way it's safe in the parking lots. But once that's done, we'll be good to go.
Can I just mention one more thing under the
Yeah, go
cars?
ahead.
What we would like to do with council's approval is, we would like to mark 320, that's the 2015?
That's a 16.
16. We would like to mark that one and the new one be unmarked, because the part-timers would be able to have a marked car. I want them in a marked vehicle, and we would rather have them in a 16 rather than a 19, with the permission of council. Either way, one of them had to be striped, so all we would do is be paying to have 320 striped instead of 320, what would be the new car?
21.
321.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not gonna, it's gonna be a wash. That's what we wanna
Right.
do, because we.
Like to start doing this, the cycle, Brent Township did it, where you keep the newer cars. 320 only has about 30,000 miles on it, so it's, it's safe, it's a newer car, so it'd be better for them to utilize,
Yeah.
And we only want certain people in marked cars, is basically what we're saying, so.
Do we need a motion on
unmarked for us.
that? Okay, we need a motion on that.
So
We still have the first motion.
Yeah, we need
Oh.
I need the dollar amounts too for the minutes. Do you have
What was it,
the price?
23?
Can you-
Yeah,
can
so
you
we have the
this?
price of the vehicle is gonna be $25,762 with the government discount.
You can add that into the motion, Elaine.
I will, that's fine, that's fine.
Okay, and then
Okay.
the cost of the upfit is gonna be $10,703 even.
Second.
There you go.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, do you want me to make a motion for the 10,700?
I put it all as
Put it all in
one,
one. Okay, that's
purchase
good.
and the.
And then I'm gonna make a motion too, to go ahead and accept the bid to Ambridge for $8,500.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Let me see
You wanna
here.
make the motion to strike the car?
Yeah.
Make a motion, we go strike the car.
Second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, now we'll move on to the speakers. We had talked the last time about the room and the sound. We're gonna go ahead, I can't make that motion, so I'll need someone else to make that
Okay.
motion. I have to abstain from this.
Motion to replace the
Why?
speakers.
Can I ask why you have to?
It's a relative, their business within Ambridge. They've had it for quite some time, like 20 years or so.
Motion to replace the speakers at a cost of $990 and to purchase 10 wireless microphones for $875.
I'll second that.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With
I
the
need a
with
roll
the
call.
because he abstained. Okay, so this is to purchase new speakers for $990 and 10 cordless microphones for $875. Mrs. Furr? Mrs. Furr, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Catula?
Abstain.
Abstain. Mr. Shelkins?
Yes.
Mrs. Singleton?
No.
Mr. Trzanka?
Yes.
Mrs. Montel?
No.
Okay, motion carried. 3 yeses, 2 nos.
Okay, anything else, Ted? We want to go on to building property and
Well,
grounds?
we could, do you want to bring up the Washington at all?
Yeah, you know what, Ted, under your report also, if you look, I had the no smoking, I don't know if you guys want
Oh,
to talk
okay.
about that on the back.
Oh, yeah, we want to we got to get a motion in here to properly enforce no smoking on borough property. So I'd like to make that motion right now.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
And just so council knows, that'll be an ordinance, we'll have to ask the attorney to write. Right now, we have just a policy for no smoking on borough property, but the police are unable to enforce it and it's taking place, so. And then if you want me to discuss what happened in Washington, that's fine.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, on Monday, the apartment building rigged into the parking lot here, the facade on the side of the building was bowing out, and so the fire department was notified, police and everything. They closed the road with the help of Public Works, and the property owner was contacted. He was working on trying to get engineers up there and to get a company to come in to fix that. In the meantime, today, all of a sudden, we heard a big boom, the electricity went out, and Kevin Mutcher said, Edmondson's wall probably fell, and it was. So the situation right now is the building has been declared unsafe because there's no electricity, so all the residents inside the building have to be relocated. So they either went to places on their own or they contacted the Red Cross and picked them up for a few days. I want to personally thank, and I know Judy would too, Kevin Mutchler. It happened to be when this all happened on Monday afternoon. I was at the doctor's, so he kind of stepped up and helped pull everybody together.
He
did a great
basically
job.
Exactly, pulled everybody together, and everybody worked well together. The police, the fire department, everybody involved really came together on this one, and then Elaine kind of kept us all informed today of what's going on. I know our power went out because of that. Yours too? I don't know how.
Yeah, no, our electricity went out here, and I lost my entire agenda. I had to retype it because I was in the middle of doing it. But
yeah,
it's the property owner's issue, problem, and he's a good landlord. He wants everything good for his residents. He watches his dollars spent is the nice way to say it. So he will get it fixed. He's been calling me multiple times today. So that's the situation with that.
He is very cooperative.
Well, more of it fell. I can tell when I came here. There's a bigger section.
Yeah,
more of it is coming down.
And where are these people right now?
They either went to friends' houses or we gave them the phone number for the Red Cross, and
how
they will
many
put them up for
units?
3 days. I don't know. Do you know how many units are in there,
I
Dave?
think there's 7 in there, but there wasn't that many families that we needed.
Oh,
to
really?
get.
I don't know why I thought 6,
Yeah.
but there's 7.
Yeah. So it went really, really well. It did for everything.
I want to get another opinion on the microphones. Abstention counts as a no, not carried.
Oh, okay.
So we have to correct that.
Okay. So instead of we're correcting on.
The abstention counts as a no on the vote on the microphones. So it actually is not 3-2, but it's 3-3, which means it did not.
Correct. So
it's a tie.
okay. So we have to
No
go back.
action.
Okay. Then we go.
Can't the mayor break the
Can't
tie?
the
I thought
mayor?
the mayor was deciding.
Yes.
Is that correct?
I'm not sure this is the type of motion that the mayor votes on in case of a tie, because I can look into it. I would think we should table this until I give you an opinion.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and now table the roll call and the motion involving the purchase of new speakers and the microphones until next month. Okay?
Okay. Ted, take it away.
Okay, last one, T-Mobile. We asked T-Mobile to increase their quarterly lease payment to $52.50, revenue increase of $3,000. So I'd like to make a motion that we sign that agreement.
Yeah, and do you want to add that the revenue, how much it will be increased?
Yeah.
Revenue will be increased by $3,000, which is good.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. David,
Okay,
Public
there's
Works.
$3,000. Can we buy the microphones now?
I've got a month to think about this.
All right. The trailer court over on Market Street, The building inspector stated there were violations under the property maintenance code that he may need to file. The sewer issue must be enforced by the municipal authority. After seeing the mobile homes that are up there under the Mobile Home Act of June 15th, 1976, the building inspector will not authorize any of the mobile homes in the park to be moved or relocated. So basically, they're too old and probably too fragile to move. I'll keep going. Under municipal authority, across from Harvey's on 65, where PennDOT did work, we have a crushed sanitary sewer. PennDOT is bucking us on it, so we asked for a meeting with Representative Matsey and Senator Vogel to try and help us out on getting PennDOT to own up to their pile of rocks that they dumped on our sewer line. The estimated repair for that is $52,000.
Oh, my word.
And I don't think the borough or the municipal authority should be responsible for that. You know, there's a PA one call thing, and it's clearly their work that is sitting on our pipe. It wasn't there before.
And where is this located under 65, Dave? Right by Harvey's.
Directly across the street from Harvey's, where Washington Street comes down.
Yes.
The sewer line runs under 65 and over where the interceptor is by the railroad tracks.
And what part is?
So right where the gully is, they put riprap in there, like big boulders, set them right on our sewer line, and it's broke there, and it is broke partially under 65.
Does that mean that they're gonna have to dig up 65?
Well, we got a price. There's a company that will come in and basically burst the pipe and shove a new pipe without digging up the highway. But again, $52,000 that I don't think should be our responsibility.
I agree.
So we're asking for Vogel and Matsey to step up and, it's not our rocks. They weren't there until they started rebuilding 65. So that's where we are on that. I'll keep you posted as we go through the meetings.
Thank you. Sue, anything on library this evening?
No report.
Community Relations and Recreation, Dawn?
Yes, Parks and Recreation, have sent out, letters for donations this year, or starting to send out letters for donations for the Harvest Festival to different, businesses within the local area and surrounding area. We have not had our reorganization meeting. We're gonna have it this month. It was postponed due to member attendance last meeting. Also, Parks and Recreation discussed with the failing parks we have around in our community, the 3 of them, about going down and seeing Representative Massey about a grant. I did go down and see him. There's a Greenways and Trail Recreation Program, it's GTRP. However, whatever we're asking for is a 15% match. Before I even seek this, I need to know if council is willing to do a 15% match on what we need to bring these playgrounds up to standard with insurance companies.
How much money are we talking?
Yeah.
50,000 or less. So you're looking at probably 7,500? I have no problem with it, Dawn. It's just I can't see restoring this park up off of Moore Avenue. I don't think enough people use it to even restore it. It's a...
There's about 22 kids use that.
On Moore Avenue?
New families moved in the last year.
Oh, okay.
The other ones stopped using it, they were gone, but the rest of our playgrounds, there's nobody using them. They don't play basketball more, they play things on the TV. We've got all these basketball courts and stuff. Drive around yourself. Nobody there. Kids don't do that. We spend a lot of money for nothing.
When does this grant,
May 31st,
and when would it be awarded, this year or next year?
this year. When? He didn't say exactly. I would have to ask him.
I think if it's 50,000 and we can come up with 7,500, I think would be crazy not to maybe do a better study of the parks and see which ones, maybe cut it back you know, put it where the kids are right now, and put the bouncy things, put the spinny things back in, put all the fun stuff back in.
No one uses that one up on Virginia Terrace. I thought that would be used.
We've seen kids up there when we were up there.
I've seen kids up there.
Virginia Terrace, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did too.
Out of all of them, that's the nicest one.
I don't have a problem with trying to come up with the money if we get the grant. My personal opinion.
Well, fine.
We need a motion.
I have no problem with trying to get the money. I just wanted, maybe you could lower the expenses a little bit, you know, a
So
little bit.
we need a motion.
A motion
To
to
proceed with the
do
grant.
the grant and to do the 15% match, not to exceed whatever, 7,500, 10,000, whatever you want, just so that she has a dollar amount.
Put the motion on the floor to pursue the grant.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
And what dollar amount are we looking at for the 15%?
And 50,000 or less?
No, we mean for our 15%.
Oh, for your
You wanna do 10,750, 7,500, just so I have that on record?
Not to exceed
Not to
$7,500.
$7,500.
7,500, okay.
Okay, we voted on that, didn't we?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
That's all I have.
Okay, what's this for Bob? He's not here this evening.
He's not here, I can explain that to you real quick.
Okay.
Our building inspector was in today, and he informed me that we still have the older 2009 was the year that we adopted the last Uniform Construction Code. We have until April to adopt the new one, the state requires you to. So the most recent one is the 2015, so I have to advertise an ordinance to adopt that and do that for next month. So we just need a motion
So
to
moved.
advertise. Thank you. We need a second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Do you have a report this evening, Jim?
I only have a comment. When we tabled the motion on the sound system.
Yes.
Did we vote to table?
Now, do we need to vote to
I
table?
would vote to table. I would vote to table.
Okay, this is all new to me on this
I
one.
make a motion to table the sound system till the next meeting.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
Opposed?
Okay, we have roll call.
Okay. Okay, so now we're doing a motion to
oppose
to table, wait, a motion to table the motion to purchase the sound system and speakers, okay? Mrs. Furr,
Yeah.
Mr. Catula,
No.
Mr. Shelkins,
No.
You mean on the sound system?
Mrs. Singleton,
Yes.
After a second.
Mr. Trzanka,
No.
Mrs. Montel.
Yes.
We're back to 3-3.
The only thing I want to say is everybody's been complaining about these speakers and microphones.
I want to know.
It's $1,700 or whatever.
And the last bid was over 8,000.
Yeah. If it was if it's going to fix the issue with people not being able to hear us,
What's wrong with them?
everybody complains they can't hear.
I can
Not
think
everybody,
of,
one guy.
I can think of one person that
One
complains
guy
about
complains.
not being able. Can
Well,
you hear this
the
evening?
mayor
He's not even here.
complains. The mayor complains.
The mayor complains.
Joe, not to point you out, but you complain. Patsy complains.
I haven't heard Mr.
I
Costello
can hear him
complaining.
sitting right here where Betsy sits.
Okay, well, I'm just. I mean, it is
I
what it
can't
is.
see.
We could hear you when
We
you're
just
talking to the
voted to-
microphone, that's the whole problem. That's why we can't hear you.
Well, that's why we want to get the wireless microphones, Joe.
And I
They're
think
going to
that,
be
and
right
I
on
think
you.
that's spending a lot of money because some people choose not to speak into the microphones. We just voted on what's this? Not more than $7,500 to go to the rec board tonight. I think there was another $3,000 for something else, and now we're going to spend another close to $2,000 for microphones that I don't think are necessary.
Point
My
of order.
opinion.
Solicitor, do I vote on this? Break the
You
tie?
broke the tie.
I don't think you do.
Why?
That's what I want to look into.
Well, I'm going to cast my vote, and then if it's wrong, it's wrong. I vote with Mr. Trzanka and Pitt.
You have a comment, Mr. Stupid?
Just a question for the solicitor. First of all, I'm not for the microphones, but you voted 3-3, the mayor voted yes. If you research it and find out he is entitled to vote, then it would pass, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
So, and if he isn't allowed, it doesn't pass, so you don't have to table or anything. Basically, what you have to do is find out, is he allowed to vote on it or not?
Correct.
So,
It's a
I don't
moot
think
point.
that
It's a moot
yeah,
point.
thank you, that's what I'm trying to say. It's immaterial. Until you find out about the mayor, you can't do anything on it anyways.
That's his job to break a tie.
Borough codes have changed. You don't know what the newest updates are on it.
I need to look at it.
I don't think so. I don't think so, Mike.
Well, okay. Tony,
All right, on my report, Circle Street, the project has been completed. For USDA grant loan application, we're preparing an application on behalf of the borough. We listed the projects that were given to us for a number of streets to replace water lines and for replacing water meters and to replace a number of fire hydrants, and we provided the estimates. So this would be a grant slash loan application to USDA. Once we submit this and they review it, they'll decide how much grant they'll provide the borough. But we need to get approval from council if this list are acceptable or they want to reduce or add more before we proceed with the work we have.
How about Milton? Milton Street?
Milton is not covered under, the issue on Milton is not something that's covered under this grant application or loan application.
Just that?
Yes.
So-
This is mainly for water line work.
So question, Tony, the prices for these water lines, does that involve repairing the roads, paving the roads also?
The repair of the roads included with the numbers you see here.
Okay, but
so that would include
fixing the
Franklin
ditch
Avenue?
or paving the whole road?
No, we don't, they don't pay for the whole road to be, it'll be, let's say, one lane can be fixed, but they're not gonna pay you to do two sides, two lanes.
Can we put two water lines in? One on either side.
Put the water line up the middle of the road.
Put it right in the
Well,
middle.
I know, why don't we call Columbia Gas and tell them to come work on the
My
other
opinion
side?
is we leave it as is and see how much money they give us.
Yeah, that.
Because we can always
I
turn
can't
down,
Yes, you can.
we can always turn down if we feel it's too much.
Yeah, but
But
I
we
think
know
this is.
Franklin and North have to be done. They have to be done.
They have.
Mike spends more time up there fixing broken water lines than anywhere else in town, I think. And it's just, those two at least need done. The other ones probably need it too, but
Yeah, I can't see anything I'd like to cut on here.
No.
If anything, I'd like to add. Does anybody else have any opinions on this?
What are we talking about with the meters?
placing them all,
Placing them all?
All of them?
yes.
This
On the
price.
wireless ones that
Yeah,
will,
with the wireless ones that,
so our guys don't have to walk house to house to house reading meters.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, when you said meters, I'm just looking at,
So we're talking $1 million to replace meters through town.
Every single one of them.
to a remote meter, so our guys would no longer have to walk house to house.
Well, another thing is that water meters over time, they don't read correctly anyway, so.
I just wonder how long it'll take us to recoup $1 million. That's a lot of walking, a lot of guys. Just an
Just
opinion,
figure out,
I'm just wondering.
Mike, how many days you spend every month?
A week, 3, 4, 5 days.
that's every 3 months, isn't it?
Every
Like,
3 months.
Every
Oh,
3 months.
you don't read them every month?
No,
It's quarterly.
quarterly.
So
Quarterly.
I'm not saying I'm against it,
A week
but it
times
just seems
4,
it might take a
times
long
4
time to recoup
employees.
that.
4.
It's a good point.
Not yet, but to support that on our end, you have to, the process here is they walk around, they're reading the meters, they're looking at the numbers, they're manually writing them down in a book. They bring that book back to the office. Christine looks at that number and manually types it in the computer one at a time, all like almost 3,000 of them. So the probability of human error for the guys writing a number down wrong or reading it wrong and then Christine typing it wrong, it does happen. I mean, you get how many, about between 25 and 40 work orders to go back and double check meters. Okay, sometimes they're correct, sometimes they're wrong. By going with the remote meters, that's totally gone because it's remote and it automatically will upload onto the computer system. And then we'll run the reports to see are the meters over, under, or whatever. So that's my support for it.
How many meters do we have?
3.
Almost 3,000, she said.
Close to
Combine 3,000 and 900,000. I still think it's a ton of money.
Can I add something to that?
Sure.
The water meters that we've been installing new, the iPearls is what they're called. Those would be compatible with this new system. So you wouldn't have to do every meter in town. Only the ones that don't have the iPearls already. They would be compatible.
But honestly, how many of those do you think you have?
I bet you 25-30%.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. So that could
Just
give us
off the top of
money
my
there.
head.
Yeah.
I mean,
Does this mean you won't even have to go into the homes anymore, Mike?
no. Right, I mean, yes.
They just put a little antenna, like at my house, if they're gonna call me, there's a little antenna on my water meter.
Even the ones we
If I could, whenever I looked into this a few years ago, with our antennas up on Kellinger Drive, up on the top, that would be mounted up there, and you could just push a button on a computer and read all your meters from an antenna mounted up there. And if you were so inclined to do so, you could read Aliquippa's water meters with our power, and you could bill that out and read their meters. There's a lot involved in it.
Okay. Well, my vote is to go with it and see what they approve, what comes under the grant, what we would have to borrow, and sort it out after that.
I second. Especially like you mentioned, North Avenue and Franklin.
And the fire hydrants.
Well,
We had those
that
too.
My only problem with the fire hydrant removal and replace of 37 of them, it goes back to the fact that some of those hydrants are still on 4-inch water lines. To me, it's not worth it to put a new hydrant on an old 4-inch water line. Or if it is on a 6-inch water line, it's stubbed to the fire hydrant on a 4-inch water line. So, yes, the fire hydrants need replaced, absolutely. But it's not just pulling the fire hydrant out, putting the new one in and wiping your hands and saying it's good to go. You gotta fix the water line to it. So that's an additional expense.
Okay, but you said we wouldn't have to replace every single water meter in town.
I'm
We
talking
would be
fire
done.
hydrants.
No, but I'm asking you a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay,
Sure.
but instead of 3,000, you're saying 2,500 may only need replaced.
Yes.
Well, the money is saved from there. Couldn't that go into repairing the fire hydrants, the lines on the fire
I don't
hydrants?
see why not.
Well, somebody's gonna get replaced anyway, the lines, right? How many meters do you say are involved in this North Avenue, Franklin,
How many hydrants?
Berry Street? Yeah, how many hydrants would?
Hydrants?
Well, that way you'd have the lines, right? Then at this point,
Sure.
all of those meters,
Right.
for all those hydrants would be set up with
Right.
the
They
right
went
size
off,
line.
And
he
the
went
one
off
on
the,
Big-
he went off the original list, when last year when we were applying for that grant for the fire hydrants,
Right.
that's the list that they utilize.
So the Berry Street area, if that's included in the Amon Avenue area, that's gonna take care of a lot of these bad fire hydrants.
Well,
The one on North Avenue, that's gonna take care of some of them too. So I don't know the exact number, but maybe it's gonna be half of that, and then after that, maybe.
okay, but that would save us some money out of this
Right.
big total here.
Again, this is a budget number for now. It's the matter of, is the borough willing to work with a budget like this, or they want to reduce the numbers for the application?
Well, what's the max you said we could get 45% possibly from the grant, via grant?
That the
Again,
grant
I don't
would
want-
the grant would cover all of it if you got a grant, then there's the loan. But
Yeah, but I
if
thought
I
you
remember
said-
correctly, the gentleman that came from the USDA, whatever,
Right.
he said, you know, shoot high. I mean, they might come back and say, we're only gonna give you between the two, 2 million. So then we're gonna have to cut anyway, because it's 2,600,000. But the other thing, it can come back, they might give us all to us, and it might be too much out of pocket for us. We can start cutting. That's why we specifically had the engineer put this into 3 categories. You might come back and say, you're gonna get this amount of money, and you can say, okay, take out the meters, or whatever. So that's why this is set up the way it is, so that depending on how much money we do get, we can cut and see where it's gonna affect us accordingly.
For some reason, I seem to remember, and I don't know if I got this from Mike, somewhere along the lines, 45%
Correct. That would
was
be the
a
loan.
guess we thought we could get as the grant portion. I know I didn't make that up, I heard that someplace.
No, excuse me, it would cost us, if we borrowed $1 million, $45,000 a year to pay. Part of this grant is something different. You might get $2 million grant, which we wouldn't have to pay anything.
Okay, I thought that was
Yeah,
45,000, I mean, 45% was
your
the max
payment would
grant
be
amount.
for the $1 million.
Okay.
My motion stands to leave it as is, to see how it pays out.
We have a second on it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, more good
The
news.
borough building walkway, hopefully they'll come back and finish that in the spring. Berry Street Waterline Loop, for this CDBG grant that was received, we're working on that design plans for to provide. And the application for the next year CDBG is being worked on. It'll be focused on the library steps and providing a lift for ADA access. That's all I have.
Okay. I think on this one, Tony, though, that when you said the borough building walkway, I think that you're recommending we put a canopy.
Something to think about if that's what you want, yes.
And I think they did recommend, I think that we cover that walkway so this won't happen again.
Correct, yeah.
So I think, I'm not gonna ask for a motion or anything like that, but what I would like you all to consider, once the weather gets nicer, that we get something out there so that we can keep our walkway and not go through this again. Anything else, Tony? Mayor's report. Mayor?
The citations for the last month was $702.
Mayor, do you want to use your microphone? We can't hear you.
Your microphone,
Your
Mayor,
microphone.
we can't hear you.
If he had his wireless one, we'd hear him.
The citations for...
Turn on his microphone, please.
If you have to turn those new ones on?
I'm sure.
They're motion activated.
Oh, that's cool.
The citation for last month was $702.22, and the total of service calls came to the amount of 300 calls. That's all I have.
That's it, Mayor?
That's it.
Okay. Well, other than a lot of expenses that we've talked about tonight, the one good thing is the police contract is signed. And I'm so glad that that's one more thing we don't have to worry about. Any old business to come?
Can I just bring up one thing?
Sure.
So in our budget, we have, I believe it was $500 for radios. I don't believe we used ours last year. With having officers at 2 different schools, we need to purchase, I would say, 2 radios minimum, if we were able to do that. Dave, I think you know the cost of them, it might be a little bit more.
Well, they don't make the ones we have anymore.
Okay.
But they're out there used extremely reasonable.
Okay.
So like, we might be able to get 2 or 3 for the $500.
That would be even better. So if we can look around, if Dave can help me, he has a hook on that. But we definitely need more, because now there are so many officers out during the day, we don't have enough radios.
Okay.
So if we could do that.
I think 3 is a good.
If we can get 3 for the $500, it's,
I think that
you know.
that's a good one. Do we need a motion on that, Jim? Okay, I need a motion.
Motion to purchase up to 3 used portable radios for
Second.
the police department.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Aileen, can you add not to exceed $500?
Yep, I already have it,
Everybody's okay.
already got that.
Hey, Dave, do we have stop sticks?
No,
Do we
I
need
thought
stop
we
sticks?
did.
no.
Okay.
They're very, you could get yourself in trouble with them.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Oh. I didn't,
Good enough.
I always thought we had them.
Because if you throw them down, someone wrecks and gets killed, what's gonna happen?
Or the wrong car goes over them.
That's just my opinion.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, is there any other business to come before us tonight? Mr. Weber?
I want to ask Tony, I've been spending a lot of time over around Roddick and Schiller Street. Those new streets that you paved this year, did you pay to have a finish coat put on them?
What streets are you
It
referring
was
to?
a mill and pave project.
So
So
there was
the,
no, it's actually not blacktop street now.
the one that was a tar and chip? Oh, okay.
Not tar and chip, but it was, but it wasn't like an asphalt pave, it was like.
Not a
like
regular
Which
like-
street are you referring to?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't remember exactly what was the coat that was used, I don't remember.
It's a rough coat, I mean, there's a
Yeah.
lot of water and stuff can go down between it, but I noticed the one by the basketball court, it looked like somebody either dragged something down the middle or somebody burned their tire out going up the middle. It looks to me like they're starting to fall apart pretty quick.
Yeah, I'll have to look at which street, and there should be a bond on the street. We have, I think, 2-year bond on these jobs.
Look at Liberty by that basketball court.
We'll check it out.
Is there any other business? If not, do I have a...
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.